Ladies and gentlemen, success doesn't begin with luck. It doesn't start with the right connections or a perfect environment. It begins with discipline, and three things in life will determine whether you rise with purpose or fall with regret: your mind, your mouth, and your money. Controlling your mind is the foundation of all success. Everything starts with a thought. Your actions, habits, and even your emotions are all driven by what goes on inside your head. If your mind is full of doubt, fear, and negativity, your life will reflect that. But when you take control of your thoughts, everything around you starts to change. The mind is like a muscle, it needs training, discipline, and consistency. Too many people let their thoughts run wild, reacting to every situation emotionally instead of thinking strategically. They allow stress, anxiety, and limiting beliefs to define what they think is possible. But here's the truth: you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the director, and the leader of your mind. And when you start taking charge, everything improves. Success begins when you learn to respond, not react. When something goes wrong, most people panic or give up. But those who control their minds pause, breathe, and choose to respond with strength. They ask better questions. What can I learn from this? How can I grow? What's the next best step? These questions shift your focus from the problem to the solution. That's mental strength, and it's not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, focus over fear, growth over comfort, you are winning the battle inside your mind. Your mindset also determines your confidence. If you constantly think, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, you'll never take bold steps. But if you start feeding your mind with empowering thoughts, even if you don't fully believe them yet, you'll begin to see yourself differently. That's how real transformation happens. It's not about pretending life is perfect, but about believing that you have the power to change it. The most successful people in the world don't have perfect lives, they just have trained minds. They don't let fear control them. They don't get lost in overthinking. They understand that their thoughts are tools, and like any tool, they can be used wisely or carelessly. The choice is yours. Take control of your mind, and you take control of your future. That's where ultimate success truly begins. The words you speak have incredible power. They shape your reality, your mindset, and your relationships. Most people underestimate how deeply their language affects their lives. When you speak negativity, self doubt, or constant complaints, you reinforce those beliefs within yourself and in the minds of others. Every word is either building your future or breaking it down. That's why controlling your mouth is more than just avoiding arguments or speaking politely. It's about using your voice intentionally to align with the life you want to build. When you consistently say things like, I'm not good enough, I can't afford that, or I'll never make it, you're not just describing your situation, you're programming your brain to accept limitations. On the other hand, when you choose to speak with confidence, clarity, and optimism, you set a new standard for your life. Words create momentum, they direct focus, they carry energy. The most successful and disciplined people understand this. They speak purposefully even when they are frustrated. They don't let temporary emotions dictate permanent damage through careless words. But it's not just about what you say to others, it's also about how you speak to yourself. Self-talk is one of the most powerful forces in personal development. If you constantly criticize yourself, belittle your own dreams, or replay negative conversations in your head, you weaken your own ability to grow. But if you talk to yourself like someone you care about with encouragement, patience, and determination, you become stronger, more focused, and more resilient. Control also means knowing when to be silent. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing, especially when emotions are high. Reacting quickly in anger or frustration often leads to regret. Wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to hold your peace. Your voice should reflect your values, not your impulses. In every situation, ask yourself, is what I'm about to say helping or hurting me? This simple habit can transform not only your mindset, but also your relationships, your reputation, and your results. When you control your words, you become a leader not just of others, but of yourself. And that kind of leadership is the key to true, lasting success. Controlling your money is not just about how much you earn, it's about how wisely you manage what you have. Financial discipline is one of the most important forms of self control, and yet it's one that many people ignore. In a world driven by instant gratification, flashy lifestyles, and social media comparisons, it's easy to fall into the trap of spending to impress instead of saving to progress. But real wealth isn't measured by what you show, it's measured by what you keep, grow, and protect. Success in life demands a long term vision for your finances, not just a desire for short term pleasure. Most people think that if they just made more money, all their problems would disappear. But the truth is, money doesn't fix bad habits, it amplifies them. If you can't manage $100, you won't manage $10 wisely. That's why financial control starts with awareness. Know where your money goes. Track your spending. Understand your needs versus your wants. This kind of honesty with yourself is what builds financial confidence and freedom. It's not about being cheap, it's about being intentional. When you control your money, you gain more than just savings. You gain options, you gain peace of mind, you stop living paycheck to paycheck, and you start planning for the future. You begin to invest not just in stocks or businesses, but in yourself. You read more, learn more, and seek out ways to grow financially. That's what separates those who stay stuck from those who elevate. Financial discipline also means avoiding emotional spending. Don't use money to escape boredom, sadness, or stress. Don't buy things to feel better in the moment if they're going to make your situation worse in the long run. Instead, build habits that align with your goals, whether that's setting up an emergency fund, paying off debt, starting a side hustle, or learning about investments. The most successful people treat money with respect. They understand that money is a tool, not a master. It can create freedom or bring stress depending on how you use it. When you take control of your money, you take control of your life. You stop reacting to financial pressure, and you start leading with financial intelligence. That's not just wealth, that's power, and it's the foundation of long term success. Success doesn't come from talent alone. It doesn't rely solely on luck, timing, or opportunities. True and lasting success is born from self control, the ability to discipline your thoughts, your words, and your actions consistently. When you learn to master yourself, you unlock a level of power that no one can take from you. Self control means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's saying no to temporary pleasures so you can say yes to long term growth. It's showing up every day, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Most people fail not because they aren't capable, but because they lack discipline. They know what to do, but they let emotions, distractions, or laziness take over. They let fear hold them back, let frustration make them quit, or let comfort keep them stuck. But the truth is, discipline is what builds consistency, and consistency is what builds results. You don't get fit by going to the gym once. You don't become wealthy by saving money once. And you don't grow mentally or emotionally by making one good decision. It's the repeated, disciplined effort that builds greatness over time. Controlling your mind, mouth, and money is not easy, but it's necessary. When you control your mind, you stop living in fear and start thinking with clarity. When you control your mouth, you stop creating chaos and start speaking life. When you control your money, you stop living recklessly and start building a future. All of this requires self control. It's the invisible thread that ties success together. Self control doesn't mean living a boring or rigid life. It means you are in charge. You make decisions based on your goals, not your moods. You respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. You stay focused when others are distracted. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The ultimate success is not having everything, it's being in control of yourself no matter what happens around you. Because when you control yourself, no one can control you. Not failure, not criticism, not temptation. That is real power. That is real success. And it starts the moment you decide to take full responsibility for who you are and where you're going. The ultimate key to success doesn't lie in external achievements or possessions, it lies within you. When you learn to control your mind, you shape your thoughts to serve your purpose instead of your fears. When you control your mouth, you use your words to build, not break to inspire, not destroy. When you control your money, you shift from survival to strategy, from spending blindly to building a future with intention. And when you master the art of self control, you unlock the greatest power of all, the ability to choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, and purpose over pleasure. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every moment you choose to act with clarity, speak with wisdom, and live with intention, you're stepping into the highest version of yourself. You don't need to wait for the right time, the right people, or the perfect plan. Everything you need is already within you. Control what you can, your thoughts, your voice, and your habits, and let that control shape the life you deserve. That's the ultimate success, not just achievement, but mastery of self.